Fix bayonets. Ilhan Omar, Madam Congresswoman, allow me to break it down Barney style for you. Look here, young lady. As I hear it, you were born in Somalia back in '82 and spent your early years in Baidoa. Nice town to visit, but only if you're armed to the teeth. I met some Aussies there once, guarding a refrigerated mill van full. And when I say full, I mean chock full, as in from front to rear, count up, top to bottom, with nothing but bottles of Heineken. Man, that is so Australian. Then your family migrated to a refugee camp in Kenya for a few years. Definitely a step up from Somalia. Been there too. In '93, it was the kind of place you didn't want to touch the door handles, drink out of a bar glass, or sit down anywhere in a public place with an 80% HIV rate nationwide.
Oh no!
1995 arrived, as did your family, to the United States, presumably to chase the American dream. More on that in a minute. You pursued your education, and in the year 2000, you achieved the dream of American citizenship. Congratulations. From Mogadishu to Minnesota, you've had quite a wild ride. It's easy to see how you'd be so grateful for finally settling into a life of peace and prosperity. And what does one do with such gratitude for the overwhelming blessings in her life? What does she do with such an opportunity? You ran for office to serve your country of your family's salvation, delivered to you on a silver platter by the one and only loving God of the Bible, the God of the universe. You know, the same God that's allegedly worshipped in your faith. Cool story and all, but I'm not buying it. Look, you were elected to serve the people of your district in the highest order and traditions that began with our founding fathers. Your new founding fathers. You were elected to speak and argue in the halls of Congress for people like my friends and family. You probably don't know them because you vilify them, and you certainly don't serve them. And truth be told, I'm speaking of the thousands of Minnesota veterans and police officers that you spit in the faces of every single day, Ilhan. And apparently, America is such a horrible and racist country disguised in epithets of patriotism that, in an ironic twist of fate, these same people pay your salary. You dare to compare America and Israel to terrorist organizations like Hamas. You remember the people that you defend without reserve or shame as they regularly and indiscriminately fire on God's people of Israel. The Bible tells us that the power of life and death is in the tongue. I believe your people have a similar belief. What I can't comprehend is, though, how you could, even under this sick political rhetoric, allow certain things to cross your lips. The American public at large may not know these things, but I'm going to break it down for you, Barney style, even further. I served in 3 different combat engagements during my service in the military. The honor and privilege of serving my country is mine forever, another gift from God, and I regret nothing, especially my tour in Mogadishu in '93. Sergeant Major Lamb was right. We didn't stack the amount of bodies that you said we did, but we sure wish we did. As a legitimate, professional military squad leader and member, I was entrusted with the lives of America's sons and daughters, many of which hailed from your constituency. As you can clearly see here, we held on to each other, not due to anything as insignificant as our skin color, but love for one another following Christ's example found in John chapter 15. No greater love. And what's with you and your girls calling yourselves the squad? This has me a bit confused. As a veteran, as A veteran? I still can't tell if what you guys are doing is cultural appropriation or stolen valor. And it's getting hard to tell who you hate more these days, the United States or Israel. But it's good to see you finally recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization. We'll take that small victory for now. Seems to me like you girls should change your name to Jihad Squad instead. Shout out to Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Yeah, I said it. Seems more apropos. Just saying. Ah, yes, jihad. It's not a term that I use lightly, as I've personally faced down one or two in my time. You see, I'm a survivor not only of Mogadishu, but of the genocide in the Balkans in the late 90s and the Arab Spring of 2004 in lovely Ramadi, Iraq. So I am acutely aware from whence I speak. And is anybody ever going to mention how Master Sergeant Gary Gordon, Medal of Honor recipient from the Battle of Mogadishu, the Battle of the Black Sea, his personal GPS device with his name on it was taken off his body in 1993 and yet magically deliciously found in an Afghanistan cave in 2002. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all know how jihad works. Yeah, right about now, Psalm 37:13 comes to mind. The Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. You and your adolescent minion cohorts use the term genocide pretty liberally, I noticed. I've seen genocide with my own eyes all over the world, including your country of birth. You, nor any of your girls, have the right to use that term in relation to anything remotely American. Unless, of course, you're talking about the wildfire of abortions that plagues our nation. But you support that. Your grandfather picked cotton as a child in southern Louisiana. This wasn't by choice. As a matter of fact, he had to pick his body weight's worth of cotton every day, or suffer what we call here in America an ass whooping. In the 60s, he and my grandmother were married by Pastor Lee Joyner, an African-American woman who boldly led the early church during the Civil Rights era by becoming the first female of color to be recognized in the state of Louisiana as a pastor. No white privilege there or here. That term, white privilege, is nothing more than a conjured-up theory that cultivates, nurtures, and propagates victimhood. That is all it is. You will find no such thing in my home. My Bible tells me that if a man does not work, let him not eat. You've also said that critical race theory isn't happening. So first you said some people did something, and now you're saying some people aren't doing something. Make up your mind. I believe what comes out of your mouth about as much as I believe you love our country, Epstein killed himself, or LeBron is the good. I can't even make myself say it. Larry Bird forever. And now you want to blame the police for your own leadership failures in your own city, where the murder rate's up 116% over the last 2 years. You know, after you tried to defund the police and all. It kind of feels like the people of Minneapolis have spoken. And don't think you're fooling anyone over your beef with Congresswoman Boebert and trying to garner sympathy from the American public over your alleged hurt feelings. Not God, nor the Bible, nor I am here to validate anyone's feelings, yours included. I know this is a farce because I've seen what you've seen and I've been where you've been. And I know for a fact that this is not the worst you've seen or heard. A backpack joke? Give me a break. That's low-hanging fruit. But truthfully, even I wonder sometimes if the American taxpayer isn't being burdened with someone importing cot for your personal congressional office vending machine. You'd certainly think so with some of the things that cross your lips. Now, before you go claiming that this Caucasian Christian man in Arizona is somehow Whitey the White Devil, or the fact-checking censorship masses lose their minds, be sure you check the data for my dead forefather who lost a leg from a cannonball fighting against slavery in the Civil War. My dead Somali daughter. My Ugandan compassion child. Or our Mexican Indian foster daughter. And my 23 million brothers and sisters of the warfighter nation of every imaginable race, ethnicity, tribe, and color, and the hundreds of thousands of parents who are rising up across the nation to fight the latest shade of racism before you come to any more silly conclusions. You hear me, young lady? Get over yourself, Madam Congresswoman, because America is over you. God is watching, and so are we, the people. If you'd like to learn more about real freedom, then I'd recommend visiting Philadelphia, where our independence and our nation was born. After all, it is the city of brotherly love. I'll leave you with one last thing. You see this picture? This is my buddies and I in your home country of Somalia. Will, Harv, Vino, and myself. Why do I make these introductions? Simple. Now you and I both know at least 3 Americans who've done more for the United States and Somalia than you, your so-called squad, or your entire family. I'm Ron Breland, American warfighter, University of Mogadishu, class of 93, and I'm praying for America, even you, Madam Congresswoman. Bless your heart.